Good evening. My name's Dave, and I am the storyteller at Zombie Farm. Tonight, I'm going to tell you the story of The Bus of Dolls. In South Georgia, there's a small town. A town so small, in fact, that it has only two employers. One is a small school. The other is a very large prison. Now, this creates a problem. When the prisoners have served their sentence and they're released, they get no assistance from the state. Many of them have no families. Most of them are penniless and they have nowhere to go. And so they invade the town and live there as homeless people, begging for food and jobs. But remember, there are only the two employers. Now, an ex-convict is not going to be able to work at the prison that he was just released from, and the school certainly wouldn't hire them to work with the children. Thus, the problem. The mayor of the town, who is also the principal of the school, absolutely hates the ex-convicts. He calls them liars and thieves. They are the bane of his existence. He hates them so much that he put an ad in the paper asking for an enterprising creative entrepreneur who will rid the town of our homeless. We cannot allow our children to be exposed to these liars and thieves any longer. We will give you a large sack full of money if you can rid the town of the lot of them. About a week after the ad ran, a stranger comes into town, goes to the school, and talks to the principal. And he says, I can help you with your problem. I can rid your town of the homeless, but I'm going to need to borrow one of your school buses so that I can drive them out of town. And the mayor agreed. The next morning, the stranger's driving the bus down the middle of the street, main street in town, with a bullhorn saying, we have jobs. Come to the job fair. We also have free hot meals. And of course, the homeless men are quite interested in this. They get on the bus, start asking questions, and when the last one gets on, the stranger closes the door and drives out of town. About a week later, he returns and goes to see the mayor. He says, I have kept up my end of the bargain. I have rid your town of the homeless, and they won't be back. And the mayor says, how do we know that they won't be back? And the stranger tells him, I too was once in prison. When I was released, there were people who gave me respect and a second chance, and I never went back to my old ways. So I took these poor, homeless ex-convicts to a place where there are kind people who will give them that respect and help them with their second chance. They have no reason to come back here. The mayor was livid. He said, if I had known that you were an ex-convict, I would never have given you a job. But I will give you your reward. And so he puts a bag on his desk. The stranger looks in the bag and says, what's this? He says, this is your reward. I never promised you real money. And indeed, the bag was full of monopoly money. And the mayor says, I'm sick and tired of you liars and thieves, you ex-convicts. Now get out of my town. And the stranger left. The next morning, the mayor starts getting phone calls from the school bus drivers saying that there must be some sort of flu epidemic or something because none of the children are at their bus stops. So he calls some teachers, the teachers call the parents, and he tried to find out what's going on with the at-home children. And to a one, every parent said, my child got on the bus this morning. I saw them get on. I helped them get on the bus this morning. And so it was. All the children got on the bus that morning. They all got on the same bus. The bus driven by the stranger. A week goes by and the children have not been returned. The parents are grief-stricken. The town is eerily quiet without the laughter of the children. Then, one morning, the bus appears at the school. The janitor goes onto the bus to see if he can see what's happening, and what he sees nearly gives him a heart attack. Instead of the children, what he sees in every seat are small, porcelain-faced dolls, sitting there, facing forward, smiling quietly, as if expecting instructions to get off the bus. In the driver's seat, there was a note. The note read, "I have fulfilled my part of the bargain, and your children will no longer be exposed to you liars and thieves." That is what you wanted, wasn't it? Now, every year, on the anniversary of the disappearance of their children, those parents take the dolls and they go to the bus sitting in the overgrown field behind the abandoned school. And on the driver's seat, they place a bag full of crisp, new, real $100 bills. The next morning, they go back in hopes that their children have been returned. But all they find is an empty sack and those same small, porcelain-faced dolls sitting there, facing forward, smiling quietly, as if expecting instructions to get off the bus.